echoes of the crime.
What happens when the safest place becomes the scene of a mess? On a quiet Wednesday afternoon in San Diego, California, June 9, 2025, gentle sunlight filtered through palm-lined streets, where families prepared dinner and children played in yards. The dilapidated apartment complex on Cajon Boulevard, abandoned since the economic downturn, stood silently amid the vibrant city. Boarded-up windows, overgrown weeds around the entrance, and no signs of life. It seemed a mere relic of the past, but that day, a strange, pungent odor began wafting from the third floor, catching the attention of a delivery driver passing by. He was Jake Peterson, a 25-year-old who stopped his bicycle, frowning at the unusual smell. "Probably old trash," he muttered, but a gut feeling told him something was off. Phone in hand, Jake stepped through the broken door, climbed the rusted staircase, and stood before apartment 3B. The door was ajar, a narrow gap revealing darkness within. He pushed it gently, light from the hallway spilling in, and then he froze. On the dusty floor, amid scattered broken furniture, sat a large styrofoam box, the kind used for shipping frozen food. The lid was askew, and from it, a pale, stiff hand protruded, fingers curled as if clawing for life. Jake stumbled back, breath caught in his throat, heart pounding. "Oh God," he whispered, hands trembling as he dialed 911. I think someone's dead here. Abandoned apartment, El Cajon, come quick." San Diego police arrived within 10 minutes, sirens echoing through the calm neighborhood. The first officer to enter, Daniel Harper, a 42-year-old white man with short blonde hair and sharp eyes, had served over 2 decades on the force. He pulled on gloves, flicked on his flashlight, and approached the styrofoam box. A rancid stench of decay hit him, making him wince. Inside, the body of a young woman, about 20, lay crumpled, eyes wide and lifeless, skin gray from suffocation. Bruises around her neck hinted at a violent end, and dried blood stained the box's edge. "This isn't an accident," Daniel muttered to his partner, voice low but firm. He scanned the apartment. Peeling walls, cobwebs everywhere, and faint footprints in the dust. Someone had been here, and someone had left this body. A gruesome secret hidden in the heart of San Diego. Residents began gathering outside, whispering in fear. "Who would do this?" an elderly woman asked, clutching her grandchild. This place was already creepy, but now... Her voice trailed off, eyes fixed on the building, as if it were a living monster. The death in the styrofoam box wasn't just a crime. It was a tear in the peaceful fabric of this beautiful coastal city. What led this girl here? Who could be cruel enough to trap a human in that tiny box? And worse, was the killer still lurking, blending into San Diego's daily life? Daniel Harper stood tall, eyes sweeping the scene. "We need to seal this area," he ordered, voice stern. "Call forensics and check for any cameras nearby. This is just the beginning." In the red glow of sunset, the abandoned apartment silhouette loomed like a warning. Even in a city of golden sun and ocean waves, darkness waited, ready to swallow anyone. San Diego, early June 2025, painted a perfect picture of coastal American life. Pacific waves lapped at La Jolla shores, families strolled through Balboa Park, and the spicy scent of tacos drifted from food trucks. But behind the sunshine and smiles, the area near El Cajon Boulevard, where old apartments mixed with convenience stores and laundromats held a slower, simpler rhythm. It was here that the life of the victim, Emily Rodriguez, intertwined with a fate that led to the horrific styrofoam box. Emily, 24, worked as a bartender at The Wave, a popular spot in the gas lamp quarter. With wavy brown hair, bright brown eyes, and a warm smile, she was a favorite among patrons. "Emily always made me laugh, even after a long day," Tom, a regular, once told friends. Born and raised in Chula Vista, a San Diego suburb, Emily was the eldest in a Mexican immigrant family, working hard to support her parents and younger brother in high school. She dreamed of saving enough to study interior design at San Diego State University, often sharing sketches she drew at night with co-workers. Her life seemed steady. She rented a small apartment near Ocean Beach, where she loved jogging along the coast at dawn, earbuds blasting pop tunes. Each shift at The Wave started at 5:00 p.m., when she'd don a black t-shirt, tie on an apron, and mix mojitos with skill. Colleagues called her reliable, always on time, and willing to stay late to clean. But in the 2 weeks before June 9, something changed. Emily seemed more anxious, Sarah, her shift partner, recalled. She kept looking over her shoulder like someone was watching. Once I saw her arguing on the phone out back, voice shaky, but she just said, "It's fine, family stuff." A regular David, a retired truck driver, noticed Emily was quieter, constantly checking her phone and rushing off after shifts. I asked if she was okay, and she gave a weak smile saying, "I just want to go home." Looking back, I wish I'd pressed her beside the abandoned complex on Cajon Boulevard, where Emily's body was found, stood a few miles from the bar. The 3-story building, once home to working families, had been empty since 2020 after the owner went bankrupt. Gray walls peeled, windows were boarded, and a faded no-entry sign marked it as a haven for vagrants or curious teens. Locals avoided it, especially at night, due to rumors of drugs and theft. No one imagined it hid such a terrible secret. In the days before the crime, another figure emerged, Marcus Jackson, a 32-year-old black man, a freelance delivery driver for apps like DoorDash. Marcus lived in a small apartment near National City not far from the scene. Tall and sturdy with short hair and a quiet gaze, neighbors described him as reserved, rarely chatting but harmless. He'd come home late in a hoodie, earbuds in, and disappear inside, Linda, a nearby tenant, said. Lately, though, Marcus seemed on edge. A fellow driver saw him snap over a canceled order, and once, he left a bag by the parking lot. Inside were rubber gloves and duct tape. Did Emily and Marcus connect? A co-worker at the Wave recalled Marcus delivering food there, and Emily handled a few orders from him. They'd chat briefly, like, "Thanks, stay safe," they said. No one knew if it went deeper. Another odd sign: a convenience store camera near the complex caught a tall man in a black hoodie walking nearby late on June 8th, hours before Emily vanished. Meanwhile, Emily's routine continued. On June 8, she worked the evening shift, joking with customers, and left at 11:30 p.m. She told me, "See you tomorrow, Sarah. I'm beat, just want to go home." Sarah recalled, voice breaking. Those were Emily's last words to friends. Her phone went dead after midnight, and no one knew where she went after the Wave. Her family, worried sick, called around but found no trace. San Diego's calm began to crack. A young woman full of dreams was gone. An abandoned complex, seemingly harmless, was about to become a hub of horror. Did Emily cross paths with danger, or did she trust the wrong person with her life? Tensions, strange calls, and a shadowy figure in the night. Pieces of a puzzle waiting to reveal the truth behind the cold styrofoam box. San Diego, California in early June 2025 was a postcard of coastal American life. Pacific waves crashed gently against La Jolla's shores, families wandered through Balboa Park, and the spicy aroma of tacos wafted from food trucks along the streets. But beneath the sunshine and smiles, the area near Cajon Boulevard, dotted with aging apartments, convenience stores, and laundromats, pulsed with a quieter, everyday rhythm. It was here in this unassuming pocket of the city that the life of Emily Rodriguez, the victim, wove into a fate that would lead her to a chilling end in a styrofoam box. Emily, 24, was a bartender at the Wave, a bustling spot in the gas lamp corner. With her wavy brown hair, bright brown eyes, and an easy smile, she lit up the room for customers. Emily always knew how to make me laugh, even after a rough day, Tom, a regular, once told friends. Born and raised in Chula Vista, a San Diego suburb, Emily was the eldest child of a Mexican immigrant family, working tirelessly to support her parents and a younger brother, still in high school. Her dream was to save enough to study interior design at San Diego State University, and she often shared late-night sketches with coworkers, her eyes sparkling with ambition. Her life seemed steady, predictable. She rented a modest apartment near Ocean Beach where she loved jogging along the shore at sunrise, earbuds pumping, lively pop songs. Each shift at the Wave began at 5:00 p.m. She'd slip into a black t-shirt, tie on an apron, and mix mojitos with a deft hand. Colleagues praised her as dependable, always punctual, and quick to stay late, wiping down tables or restocking bottles. But in the 2 weeks leading up to June 9, 2025, subtle cracks appeared in her routine. Emily seemed more on edge, Sarah, her co-worker and friend, recalled. She'd glance over her shoulder like she felt watched. One night, I caught her on the phone out back, voice trembling, but she brushed it off. "It's fine, just family stuff." A regular David, a retired truck driver, noticed changes too. Emily grew quieter, checked her phone obsessively, and darted out after shifts. I asked if she was okay, David said. She gave a weak smile and said, I just want to go home. I wish I'd pushed harder. He sighed, regret heavy in his voice. The abandoned apartment complex on El Cajon Boulevard, where Emily's body would later be found, loomed a few miles from the wave. The 3-story building, once home to working families, had stood empty since 2020 when the owner went bankrupt. Peeling gray walls, boarded windows, and a faded no-entry sign marked it as a haunt for drifters or curious teens. Locals steered clear, especially after dark, spooked by whispers of drug deals and petty theft. No one suspected this rundown shell hid a horror waiting to unfold. In the days before the crime, another figure entered the story, Marcus Jackson, a 32-year-old black man, a freelance delivery driver for apps like DoorDash. Marcus lived in a small apartment near National City, not far from the scene. Tall and broad, with short hair and a thoughtful gaze, he kept to himself. Neighbors described him as quiet, rarely chatting, but never troublesome. He'd roll in late, hoodie up, earbuds in, and vanish inside, said Linda, a tenant nearby. Recently, though, Marcus seemed tense. A fellow driver saw him snap over a canceled order, and once, he left a bag by the parking lot. Inside, rubber gloves and a roll of duct tape. Ooh, did Emily and Marcus cross paths? A coworker at the Wave recalled Marcus dropping off food orders with Emily signing for a few. They'd exchange a word or two. Thanks, stay safe, that kind of thing, they said. No one knew if it went beyond that. Another clue stirred unease. A convenience store camera near the complex caught a tall man in a black hoodie walking nearby late on June 8, just hours before Emily was believed to have vanished. The grainy footage left questions hanging. Could this be linked? Emily's days rolled on, seemingly normal. On June 8, 2025, she worked the evening shift, laughing with patrons, pouring drinks with her usual flair. At 11:30 p.m., she untied her apron, waved to Sarah, and stepped out. See you tomorrow, Sarah. I'm beat. Just want to go home, she said, a tired smile on her face. That was the last thing she said to friends. Her phone went dead after midnight, and no one knew where she went after leaving the wake. Her family, frantic when they couldn't reach her, called friends and coworkers, but found no answers. The calm of San Diego began to fray. A young woman brimming with dreams had slipped away. The abandoned complex, thought to be harmless, was poised to become a stage for terror. Had Emily stumbled into a dangerous path? Or had she misplaced her trust, handing her life to the wrong person? Subtle tensions, mysterious calls, and a shadowy figure in the night. These were fragments of a puzzle, waiting to snap into place. Meanwhile, life painted a broader picture. San Diego's streets buzzed with summer energy. Tourists snapped photos at the zoo, surfers rode waves at Mission Beach, and seagulls cried overhead. The area around El Cajon Boulevard, though, held a different vibe. Older buildings, some with cracked facades, stood beside 24-hour diners and pawn shops. Families lived here. Kids rode bikes and neighbors chatted over fences. It felt safe, ordinary, a place where nothing too bad was supposed to happen. Yet beneath this surface, something dark was brewing. Emily's world was one of hard work and hope. She'd text her mom, Maria, after shifts, promising to visit soon with groceries. Her brother Carlos, 16, looked up to her, often begging for help with math homework. She'd laugh, ruffle his hair, and dive in. At the Wave, she was a star. Customers tipped generously, drawn to her warmth. But those odd moments, her nervous glances, the hushed phone call, hinted at trouble. Was it a family issue, as she claimed, or something more sinister, stalking her from the shadows? Marcus, too, fit the everyday mold. He'd ride his bike or scooter, delivering burgers and pizzas, earning cash to pay rent. He kept a low profile, nodding to neighbors but rarely lingering. The bag with gloves and tape raised eyebrows, but no one thought much of it. Maybe tools for a side job? Yet his recent agitation, the sharp words over a missed delivery, suggested stress. Had he crossed paths with Emily beyond a quick handoff, or was he just a bystander, caught in a web not yet visible? The stage was set. San Diego's golden glow hid a growing unease. Emily, with her sketches and dreams, was about to vanish. The abandoned complex, a silent room, waited to reveal its secret. Tensions, odd behaviors, and fleeting glimpses of a figure in a hoodie all pointed to a truth buried in the city's heart, ready to erupt from a styrofoam box and shatter the peace. On June 8, 2025, San Diego basked in a brilliant sunset, the sky shifting from golden orange to deep purple. At The Wave, a lively bar in the Gaslamp Quarter, Emily Rodriguez, 24, wrapped up her shift at 11:30 p.m. She untied her apron, waved to her close coworker Sarah, and stepped outside. "See you tomorrow, Sarah. I'm beat, just want to go home," she said, a weary smile on her lips. The night breeze carried the salty scent of the Pacific, rustling her wavy hair as she walked the sidewalk, neon lights from bars flickering across her face. Her phone buzzed in her bag. A text, but she didn't check it right away. By 11:42 p.m., a security camera at a convenience store on El Cajon Boulevard, a few miles from the bar, captured Emily. She paused, glancing around as if sensing eyes on her. A tall figure in a black hoodie appeared at the frame's edge, lingering near a dark alley. Emily seemed unaware, continuing on, her sneakers tapping lightly on the pavement. The wind picked up, carrying dust and gasoline fumes from the quiet road. This was the last time a camera caught her alive. Around 12:03 a.m. on June 9, Emily vanished from the streets. No calls, no text, no trace. Her phone went dead, its GPS signal lost. Meanwhile, at the abandoned apartment complex on El Cajon Boulevard, darkness cloaked the scene. The old building with its stained walls and boarded windows stood silent like a tomb. A small, unmarked truck pulled up behind it at 12:15 a.m., headlights flashing briefly before going dark. The door slammed shut, a sharp sound in the night followed by a heavy dragging noise. Something large being pulled across the ground. Inside apartment 3B, the air was cold and damp. Mold and dust clung to the rotting wooden floor. A large styrofoam box, the kind for shipping frozen fish, sat in the middle, its lid still open, empty. Heavy footsteps echoed up the rusted staircase, each step creaking under weight. A pair of gloved hands appeared, dragging a limp figure. Emily, motionless, her breathing stopped. Her eyes wide with panic, stared blankly, her body slack, no longer fighting. Bruises bloomed around her neck, marks of a violent struggle. At 12:28 a.m. in the dim apartment, a faint flashlight beam swept across. The figure, tall, in a black hoodie, hiding their face, lowered Emily into the styrofoam box. Their breathing was ragged, mixing with the sound of duct tape ripping as they bound her wrists and ankles, though she no longer moved. The scent of fresh blood rose, a red streak seeping from Emily's mouth, dripping onto the box's edge. The figure paused, scanning the room, as if hearing a distant noise. Pale moonlight slipped through a crack in the boarded window, catching Emily's ashen face. Eyes empty, lips parted as if to speak one last time. The climax came swiftly. At 12:35 a.m., the perpetrator forced Emily's body deeper into the box, bending her knees to fit the tight space. A faint crack of bone sounded, a chilling noise in the still room. They closed the lid, but not fully, leaving a small gap. The smell of death began to spread, mingling with the damp air. They wiped their hands on their hoodie, checked the floor, and hurried to the door. Large footprints marked the dust, a few smudges of dry blood streaking the wall. At 12:41 a.m., the truck roared to life, its engine growling before fading into the San Diego night. Time passed, and apartment 3B fell silent. The stench from the styrofoam box grew stronger, drawing insects buzzing in the dark. Outside, the city lived on. Cars rolled down El Cajon Boulevard, oblivious to the tragedy within. Emily, the girl who dreamed of a future, now lay crumpled in a cold, confined space, discarded like forgotten cargo. Clues remained scarce. A short black hair, a smear of dried blood, and size 11 shoe prints faintly etched in the dust. Over 12 hours later, at 1:15 p.m. on June 9, Jake Peterson, a 25-year-old delivery driver, stopped his bike near the complex. The foul odor wrinkled his nose, a bad feeling stirring inside. He climbed the stairs, pushed open the door to 3B, and faced horror. The styrofoam box lid askew, and Emily's pale hand jutting out. His heart raced, sweat beading on his forehead. He stumbled back, tripping on broken wood, and frantically called 911. I think someone's dead here, he stammered, voice shaking. Police arrived at 1:25 p.m., harsh sunlight glaring on the crumbling building. Officer Daniel Harper, the first on scene, flicked on his flashlight, sweeping the room. The reek of decay forced him to hold his breath. He leaned down, peering into the box, and saw Emily, bruised, cold, eyes open in a silent plea. "Good Lord," he muttered, gripping a sodding tight on his radio. Tension gripped the air, sirens wailed, and the quiet neighborhood erupted in chaos. Who did this? And why did Emily, an ordinary young woman, end up in a styrofoam box in this forsaken place? The scene was grim. Daniel, a 42-year-old white officer with 2 decades of experience, took charge. He'd seen crime scenes before, but this was different. The brutality, the cold calculation of the box. The air felt heavy, the dust and cobwebs a stark contrast to the vibrant life Emily once led. He noted the footprints, the blood, the eerie stillness. Outside, neighbors gathered, eyes wide with dread. A mother hugged her child, whispering, "How could this happen here?" The complex, a relic of better days, now felt alive with menace. Daniel's mind raced. The bruises suggested a struggle, strangulation perhaps. The box was a cruel twist, a container for life turned into a coffin. He pictured Emily's last moments, fear, desperation, a fight for breath. The timeline was tight. She'd left the bar at 11:30 p.m., gone by 12:03 a.m., dead by 12:15 a.m. per the coroner's estimate. Someone acted fast, with purpose. The truck, the dragging sound, clues to a calculated plan. As the forensics team arrived, dusting for prints and bagging the hair, Daniel felt the weight of the case. This wasn't random. Someone knew this place, this box, this moment. The hunt was on, and the truth lay hidden in the shadows of San Diego's sunny streets. By the afternoon of June 9, 2025, the abandoned apartment complex on Cajon Boulevard in San Diego pulsed with tension. Sirens wailed, red and blue lights flashed, and a curious crowd gathered outside, murmuring in unease. Inside apartment 3B, Officer Daniel Harper, a 42-year-old white man with sharp eyes, directed the San Diego police to secure the scene. To the styrofoam box where Emily Rodriguez's body was found sat silently on the dusty floor, the stench of decay lingering. But an unexpected witness stepped forward, delivering the first turning point in the case. Jake Peterson, the 25-year-old delivery driver, still trembled outside, clutching his bicycle. He discovered the body, and now, pale and red-eyed, he sat on the curb trying to recount the horror. "I was just delivering pizza," Jake told Officer Harper, his voice breaking. "The smell, it was awful, like rotting meat. I thought it was trash, but then I pushed the door and that hand." He stopped, hands covering his face, breathing fast. Daniel rested a hand on Jake's shoulder, voice calm and steady. "You did the right thing calling us. Take a breath. Did you see anyone around here? Anything odd?" Jake inhaled deeply, glancing toward the alley beside the building. I'm not sure." He hesitated. "But last night, delivering nearby around 11 o'clock p.m., I saw a tall guy in a black hoodie at that corner. He didn't say anything, just stared, then slipped into the alley. Thought he was homeless, but his eyes, they gave me chills." Daniel jotted notes, his gaze sharpening. A tall figure in a black hoodie? This matched the blurry convenience store camera footage from the night before. Could this be the person who brought Emily here? Meanwhile, Sarah, Emily's co-worker from the Wave, was called to the police station to share what she knew. The 22-year-old, blonde hair tied high, sat in the interview room, hands clasped, eyes teary. "Emily was my friend," Sarah said, voice choked. "She was fun, but lately, she acted different. She'd get texts, then go pale. Last night before leaving, she said, 'I just want to go home.' But she looked scared. I asked what was wrong, and she just shook her head." Daniel, across from her, probed. Did she mention anyone, a boyfriend, a customer, someone unusual? Sarah bit her lip, wavering. "There was this delivery guy, Marcus, who came to the bar a lot," she said slowly. Tall, black, often in a hoodie. Emily took orders from him. They chat a bit. I didn't think much of it, but last week I saw him outside the back door, staring at Emily longer than normal. She didn't say anything, but seemed uneasy. I don't know if I should have said this. He didn't do anything wrong, right? Sarah looked up, anxious, as if her words might spark trouble. Daniel nodded, voice neutral. "Every detail helps, Sarah. Thank you." The real turning point came from a tiny but game-changing clue, The forensics team, combing apartment 3B, found a short black hair caught in a floorboard crack near the styrofoam box. It's not the victim's, forensic tech Lisa Nguyen told Daniel. Emily had long, wavy brown hair. This is short, straight, and recently dyed. We'll test the DNA now. Daniel frowned, eyeing the large footprints in the dust, size 11 deep, suggesting a heavy man. Nearby, a small streak of dry blood on the box's edge was sampled, along with a faint fingerprint on a stray piece of duct tape. Hesitation crept into the community. Linda, a neighbor near the complex, approached the police, hands shaking. "I don't want to stir trouble," she said, voice low, eyes darting as if watched. "But last night, around midnight, I heard a truck nearby. It parked behind the building. Then something heavy was dragged. I peeked out, saw a tall person in dark clothes go in. I thought it was thieves, so I didn't call. I feel so guilty now." Daniel noted it, sensing the case coming into focus, the dragging sound, the tall figure. Pieces were connecting. The San Diego police faced pressure. This area, though not downtown, was part of a famed tourist city. News of a body in a styrofoam box spread fast, with outlets like Fox 5, San Diego reporting, sparking public fear. "Someone cruel enough to stuff a girl in a box like that," a resident told a reporter, voice trembling. Daniel knew the system could be slow. Missing person reports like Emily's often took a backseat to bigger cases. But now, with witnesses like Jake and Sarah and clues from the scene, he felt the case shifting from mystery to a hunt. Back at the station, Daniel sat at his desk, reviewing notes. Jake saw a man in a hoodie. Sarah suspected Marcus. Linda heard a truck. The hair, footprints, and tape pointed to a potential suspect, but he wondered, was Marcus really involved? Or was fear driving the community to quick judgment? He called the team, checked traffic cameras near El Cajon Boulevard, 11 o'clock p.m. to 1 o'clock a.m. last night, and find Marcus Jackson, delivery driver, lives near National City. We need to talk to him. Darkness still hung over San Diego. Emily, the girl who dreamed of design, was now the heart of a nightmare. Witnesses had spoken, a small clue had emerged, and the investigation was turning a corner. Who was behind the styrofoam box? Horror. And would the truth surface before fear swallowed the city? The station buzzed, phones rang, officers typed reports, and the weight of the case pressed down. Daniel leaned back, staring at the ceiling. He pictured Emily, her smile, her life, cut short in a brutal act. The community's hesitation mirrored a broader truth. In America, people often pause before reporting, wary of authority or consequences. Linda's guilt, Sarah's reluctance, both reflected that quiet doubt. The evidence was mounting. The hair's DNA test loomed, promising answers. The footprints suggested a man, tall and strong. The tape's print, though faint, could be a match. Jake's sighting and Linda's account of the truck aligned with the timeline. Daniel felt a surge of focus. Someone had planned this, chosen this empty building, this odd box. He radioed the team. "Get me everything on Marcus. Delivery logs, phone records, and widen the camera search." The city, with its beaches and sun, held its breath. A killer, or killers, had struck, and the trail was warming. The next steps would crack the case open or lead deeper into the shadows. At 3 o'clock p.m. on June 9, 2025, the San Diego police station buzzed with urgency. Officer Daniel Harper, a 42-year-old white man, stood before a whiteboard scribbling clues: the styrofoam box, Emily Rodriguez's body, a short black hair, size 11 footprints, and witness statements. The forensic team worked tirelessly while news of the case spread, rattling San Diego residents. Daniel took a deep breath, issuing orders. "We need that hair's DNA analyzed ASAP. Check traffic cameras and find Marcus Jackson. Every detail counts." The forensic team, led by Tech Lisa Nguyen, delivered early results. At 4:15 p.m., Lisa reported, "The black hair from apartment 3B isn't Emily's. DNA shows it's from a male, recently died. Blood on the box matches Emily's, and bruises on her neck suggest strangulation, likely by hand, between 11:30 p.m. and 12:30 a.m. Cause: asphyxiation. A faint fingerprint on the duct tape was analyzed, but results were partial, needing more comparison." Traffic cameras offered a breakthrough. At 5:30 p.m., a tech called Daniel, "We've got footage from near El Cajon Boulevard." At 12:10 a.m., a small unmarked truck parked behind the complex. A tall man in a black hoodie stepped out, carrying something large, then returned to the truck by 12:40 a.m. The image was grainy, but the figure matched Jake Peterson's description, the delivery driver who found the body, and Linda's account of a truck. Daniel clenched his fist, sensing the case narrowing. The team turned to Marcus Jackson, a 32-year-old black delivery driver. At 6:45 p.m., Daniel and his partner, Officer Karen Brooks, knocked on the door of Marcus's small apartment in National City. Marcus opened it, tall and broad, in a gray hoodie, eyes wary. "Hello, Marcus," Daniel said, voice calm but firm. "We need to ask about last night. Where were you from 11 o'clock p.m. to 1 o'clock a.m.? Marcus frowned, replying, "I was delivering till late, then home to sleep. What's this about?" Daniel noted Marcus's tight grip, sweat beading on his brow despite the cool evening. At the station, the interview began at 7:30 p.m. Daniel sat across from Marcus in a small room, fluorescent light glaring on the steel table. "Your Miranda rights. You have the right to remain silent, the right to a lawyer, understand?" Daniel asked, voice clear. Marcus nodded, tense. "Do you know Emily Rodriguez, bartender at The Wave?" Daniel pressed. Marcus shrugged. "I delivered food there, met her a few times, just small talk. Is she okay?" Daniel didn't answer, instead asking, "Were you near El Cajon Boulevard last night?" Marcus hesitated. "Yeah, delivered a few blocks away. Finished at 11:15, then went home." Daniel laid out evidence. "Cameras show someone like you near the complex at 12:10 a.m. Mill. Unmarked truck was there. Explain that." Marcus shook his head. "Not me. I don't own a truck. I use a bike for deliveries. Check the app. It tracks my route." Daniel jotted notes, doubt lingering. The size 11 footprints at the scene matched Marcus's shoes, and the black hair was being DNA tested against a sample he'd voluntarily given. By 9 o'clock p.m., the DNA results arrived. Lisa called Daniel. "The hair matches Marcus Jackson. 99.9% certainty." Daniel exhaled, watching Marcus through the one-way glass. He sat there, hands clasped, eyes darting. Daniel stepped in, voice stern. "Your DNA's at the scene, Marcus. Footprints match your shoes. You were nearby." "Tell me the truth," Marcus paled, voice shaking. I didn't kill her, I swear. I was just there to deliver. Some guy paid me $200 to take a styrofoam box to 3B. Said it was frozen goods. I didn't look inside. I didn't know she was there." Daniel frowned. "Who was this guy? Describe him." Marcus took a breath. "Met him online, no name, white, average height, baseball cap, southern accent, paid cash, told me to leave the box and go. I was scared, didn't ask questions." Daniel conferred with Karen. Possible accomplice. Check text transactions and cameras. The team dug into Marcus's phone, finding a message from a burner number. Meet 11:45 p.m. El Cajon. Take box to 3rd floor. $200. No question. No cameras caught this mystery man. At 10:30 p.m., Daniel and the team huddled. Evidence, DNA, footprints, cameras pointed to Marcus, but his story about the mystery guy shifted the case. Is he the mastermind? Daniel wondered. Marcus was held, not yet charged, pending more proof. The team traced the truck, checked the burner number, and sought new witnesses. The U.S. legal system churned. If Marcus told the truth, another killer lurked. That's when we knew, Daniel muttered to Karen. We're not done. The killer, or the one behind it, is still out there. San Diego simmered with unease. Police worked through the night, chasing leads. Marcus was the prime suspect, but his tale sowed doubt. Emily deserved justice, and Daniel was determined to find the truth, no matter how deep it hid. The station hummed, radios crackled, reports piled up. Daniel reviewed the timeline. Emily left the bar at 11:30 p.m., vanished by 12:03 a.m., dead by 12:15. The truck, the dragging sound. Someone planned this. Forensics bagged the tape, tested the blood, and rushed the community. The community watched, anxious, as news vans lingered outside. Daniel leaned back, thinking. Marcus's story held a threat higher to move a box, unaware of its contents. But the DNA and footprints were damning. Was he lying or a pawn? The mystery man, white, southern accent, baseball cap, eluded them. Karen suggested maybe Marcus was set up. We need that truck's owner, more footage. They checked Marcus' delivery app. It confirmed a drop-off near El Cajon at 11:10 p.m., but nothing after. His bank showed no odd deposits, just the cash he claimed. The city felt the strain. Fox 5 San Diego aired updates showing Emily's photo, her smile, her vibrance stolen away. Residents locked doors, eyed strangers. Daniel felt the pressure. A tourist city couldn't afford panic. He radioed, run the truck's plates, if any, cross-check burner phones. We're close. Marcus sat in a holding cell, head in hands. Was he a killer or a tool in a darker scheme? The truth was near, and Daniel wouldn't stop until it broke free from San Diego's shadows. On June 10, 2025, the San Diego police station thrummed with activity as Officer Daniel Harper, a 42-year-old white man, and his team delved deeper into Emily Rodriguez's case. Marcus Jackson, a 32-year-old black delivery driver, sat in custody tied to heavy evidence. DNA from a hair, size 11 footprints, and camera footage near the abandoned complex on El Cajon Boulevard. But his claim that a mystery man hired him to move the styrofoam box kept the investigation open. Justice for Emily, the 24-year-old dreamer, remained the goal. Over the next 2 weeks, the police worked relentlessly. The burner phone text Marcus received was traced, but led to a prepaid device bought with cash in National City. Traffic and store cameras were scoured, yet the man in the baseball cap with a southern accent remained a ghost. Daniel, eyes steady, ordered, check Marcus's bank, delivery logs, and recent contacts. A new clue emerged. Marcus got $200, 0 cents in cash, but a $50, 0 cents app transfer at 10:30 p.m. on June 8th from an anonymous account hinted at more. By June 25, public pressure mounted. Outlets like Fox 5 San Diego and the Union Tribune ran constant updates, stoking fear. Emily's mother, Maria Rodriguez, appeared on TV, tears streaming. My daughter just wanted to go home. Someone took her from us. Please, find who did this. Daniel watched, fists tight. Vowing not to let the case fade, a break came. A gas station camera 2 miles from the scene caught the unmarked truck at 12:45 IEM on June 9th. A white man in a baseball cap filling up. With FBI help, the team traced the truck, found abandoned near Chula Vista. Fingerprints inside didn't match Marcus, but belonged to James Jimmy Tucker, a 38-year-old white man from Alabama with priors for domestic violence and theft. Jimmy, with a thick southern drawl, was located at a cheap East San Diego motel on July 1. In the interview, Daniel faced him, voice cold. Your Miranda rights. You have the right to remain silent. A lawyer? Why is your truck at the scene, not your DNA? Did you know Emily Rodriguez? Jimmy, lean and shifty-eyed, smirked. Don't know her. Truck was stolen last week. You've got nothing. Evidence, Bill, unmasking the truth. Jimmy's prints were on a gas can at the station. Burner phone texts matched his patterns, and a motel witness saw him drive the truck on June 8. Crucially, forensics found fabric from Jimmy's jacket caught in the duct tape near the box. Daniel laid crime scene photos before Jimmy. Explain this. You hired Marcus, strangled Emily. Why? Jimmy went quiet, sweat beading, then slumped, muttering, she rejected me. Met her at the bar, wanted her attention, but she laughed. I lost it. The trial hit San Diego Superior Court in September 2025. Prosecutors presented evidence. Marcus's DNA tied him to moving the box, but Jimmy was the mastermind, strangling Emily and hiding her in the styrofoam to cover it up. Marcus, cooperative, was convicted of unintentional aiding, sentenced to 2 years probation. The grand jury charged Jimmy with first-degree murder, handing down life without parole. On verdict day, Maria clutched Emily's photo, sobbing, justice came, but my daughter's gone. The aftermath rippled wide. San Diego's community held a vigil for Emily at Ocean Beach, where she once jogged, hundreds of candles lighting the shore. A scholarship in Emily Rodriguez's name launched at San Diego State University, aiding design students. Her unfulfilled dream, the El Cajon Boulevard complex, was razed, replaced by a small park, a reminder of life's fragility. Residents pushed for more security cameras and night patrols, spurring the city to boost safety measures. Daniel, post-case, sat in his office, gazing out the window. He thought of Emily, her smile, her dreams, stolen in violence. He wondered, could the system have done better spotting Emily's fear, her odd behavior sooner? The Rodriguez family's pain, the community's dread, and the specter of crime lingered. Marcus, though not malicious, bore a guilty conscience. Jimmy, the killer, would rot in prison. but the scars remained raw. The investigation had been grueling. Daniel replayed the steps, Jake's sighting of a hooded man, Sarah's unease about Marcus, Linda's truck story, forensics, DNA, prints, fabric, shifted focus from Marcus to Jimmy, the truck's trail, the gas station footage, and Jimmy's confession sealed it. The U.S. legal system with Miranda rights and grand juries held firm, delivering a verdict, yet Daniel felt the weight, justice served, but a life lost. The community grappled with change. At the vigil, friends and strangers shared stories of Emily, her laugh, her kindness. Her brother Carlos spoke, voice cracking. She was my hero, always helping me. I'll miss her forever. The park, with a plaque for Emily, became a quiet spot for reflection. Local news ran features urging vigilance, while City Hall approved funds for better lighting and cameras, hoping to prevent another tragedy. Daniel reflected on the case's toll. He'd seen fear in Sarah's hesitation, guilt in Linda's delay, common in America where trust in systems waned. Emily's last days, nervous glances, a hushed call, haunted him. Could a friend, a coworker, have intervened? Marcus, a small player, was swept into a dark plot, paid to move a box, unaware of its horror? Jimmy's rage, sparked by rejection, ended a life, a chilling reminder of hidden danger. San Diego carried on. Waves crashed, tourists flocked to the zoo, and taco trucks hummed. But a wound lingered. The case shook the city's sunny calm, exposing shadows beneath. Parents held kids closer. Neighbors eyed strangers. Daniel, sipping coffee, stared at the horizon. He'd done his job, but the cost was heavy. Emily's dreams, of design, of a future, were gone, leaving a void no verdict could fill. Justice was served, but the pain endured. San Diego, a city of sun and sea, now bore a scar. The scariest truth wasn't a killer from the dark, but one from daily life. A customer, a delivery driver, a familiar face. The case closed, yet a question lingered. Do you truly know who you trust with your life? In this peaceful city's heart, darkness still lurked, waiting for its chance to strike. Thank you for joining Echoes of the Crime on this journey into the darkest corners of the human experience. If you're interested in real cases, justice, and the truths still hidden, don't forget to subscribe to Echoes of the Crime so you won't miss the next story. Because in the world of crime, silence often hides the loudest screams.